How did COINTELPRO compare to McCarthyism? Have you ever wondered how, to major government efforts in the mid-20th century, COINTELPRO and McCarthyism shaped American society? Both aimed to identify and suppress perceived threats, but they did so in very different ways. Let's break it down. McCarthyism, named after Senator Joseph McCarthy, emerged in the early 1950s. This was a time when the United States was gripped by fears of communism. The campaign focused on rooting out alleged communists within the government and society. It relied heavily on public accusations, congressional hearings, and blacklisting. Many people lost their jobs and reputations based on mere association or unfounded claims. The atmosphere was filled with fear and suspicion, undermining civil liberties through intimidation and censorship. On the other hand, COINTELPRO, which stands for Counterintelligence Program, was initiated by the Federal Bureau of Investigation in 1956 and continued into the early 1970s. Unlike the public spectacle of McCarthyism, COINTELPRO operated in secret. Its tactics included surveillance, infiltration, misinformation, and harassment of targeted groups. Initially aimed at the Communist Party, it expanded during the 1960s to include civil rights organizations and Black Power groups like the Black Panther Party. COINTELPRO sought to discredit and neutralize these movements through illegal and unethical means. This included using forged documents, anonymous threats, and attempts to create internal divisions within organizations. The program specifically targeted the rising Black Power movement, reflecting the social and political upheavals of the 1960s. Both McCarthyism and COINTELPRO infringed upon constitutional rights, particularly freedom of speech and association. However, COINTELPRO marked a shift from the public political witch hunts of McCarthyism to covert government repression. While McCarthyism was rooted in Cold War fears, COINTELPRO focused on a broader range of political activists, especially those advocating for civil rights. From a 1960s nostalgia perspective, COINTELPRO represents a darker side of that era's struggle for justice and equality. The decade is often remembered for vibrant activism and cultural change. However, COINTELPRO reminds us that the government actively worked to undermine these movements. The exposure of COINTELPRO in the early 1970s led to public outrage and calls for reforms to limit such abuses of power. In summary, McCarthyism was a public anti-communist crusade, while COINTELPRO was a secret campaign targeting a wider array of political activists. Both reflected government attempts to control dissent but differed greatly in their methods and historical contexts.